Hello again, children's ministry friends. Today we're talking about choices and how we can and should choose to love God and choose life and blessing that He gives to us. So we have two crafts that go along with this, and we're looking at the passage from Deuteronomy chapter 30, where God encourages us to choose Him, to choose the things that will bring life and blessing. Seems pretty obvious, but you never know. Now, our first craft that we're going to do today is a choices wheel. Basically, though, we're going to be making kind of a spinner wheel, and then what the students will do is describe ways that the choices on that wheel can be lived out. Well, you'll get it in just a minute. So, we're going to start with a paper plate. If you do not have a paper plate, you can always just use a cutout paper piece of cardstock or construction paper or cardboard or something like that. But we're going to be making a little spinner wheel. So we'll start out by decorating my plate. Now you can use either side. I use this side because it's a bit easier to draw on that way. And we're going to sort of create a game, sort of a game. We're going to start out by giving this a little caption. I'll say, choose life. Now I'm going to subdivide my plate into segments here, kind of like a pie. And you can make it really as many parts as you'd like. And I'm going to just do 4 for now. If you want to do more, you're welcome to do more. But then on each of these parts, I'm going to put ways that we can choose to follow God. So I'll say things like, obey God's voice. Part of our memory verse. That sounds like I'm having a German sausage. Obey God's voice. And then I can put love the Lord. I'll add love other people. Hold fast to God. Now down here I'm going to put my verse reference so I remember what this is all about. Deuteronomy 30, 15 to 20. Now, I'm going to make myself a spinner arrow, and then let's see what happens next. So, let me kind of cut out, you could measure this ahead of time. I'm going to kind of just guesstimate it, and then I can always trim it down if needed. But that looks to be about right. So this is the other part of my game, and on here I'm going to put how can I ... question mark. I know that's very precise. You don't have to do exactly like that. I'm going to throw on a few extra decorations here because what's a craft without a few fun stickers, right? So what you'll do here, the point is that we're going to be brainstorming ways that we can do all these things. So now I'm going to take my brad fastener, and you may want to poke a hole in the center of your plate prior to inserting the fastener. Depends how tough your plate is. These are kind of some heavy-duty ones, so I'm going to poke myself a little entry hole there. Then I will poke my hole through the arrow and through the fastener. Or through the hole, rather. You get the idea. I won't poke my hole. I'll poke my fastener through the hole. That's what I'm doing. So now, in order to play this, if you would like to, you could also attach a pipe cleaner to the back so you can hang this up. If you wanted to hang it up, that's optional. Up to you. You do not have to hang it up. But what we're doing here is you're going to be using this to discuss ways that we can do these things. You can brainstorm ahead of time. Okay, how can I show that I love the Lord? How can I listen to God's voice? How can I love other people? And then you'll take turns if you're doing it as a game or just have it as an activity. Spin your little wheel here. Woo! And evidently my wheel needs to be looser. It's not very spinny. But you'll spin your wheel and then whatever it lands on, okay, it landed on, initially it landed on love the Lord. Then it moved down, but whatever it lands on, okay, it lands on love the Lord. Well, how can I show that I love the Lord? I can sing a praise song. I can give an offering to church. I can something that shows that item, and then you can practice the other items as well. Or maybe that's your focus for the day. Maybe you land on love other people. And so my focus for the day is really showing love to other people. Or you can add specifics to this as well. Lots of options, but that's the basic idea, is that you have your fun choose life choices wheel of delight. Something like that. It's a working title. Anyways, that's your first craft. Our second craft is going to help us memorize the verse for the week. And you can actually do this with any verse, and you can do it with other things as well. In fact, if I wanted to combine these two crafts, I could put those ideas into this next craft and make it be something like that. But what I'm going to show you is we're going to start with a box. I happen to have a tissue box, no product placement at all. And you could also use a coffee can, an oatmeal can, whatever kind of empty vessel you have. Now I'm going to start off by decorating this. So I am going to just have some fun. Now we are getting close to Valentine's time. So I'm going to decorate this with some hearts because we're talking about loving God and choosing His love. But you don't have to do hearts. You can do just regular old pieces of paper. You can decorate with wrapping paper, or you can just do whatever you want to do. Go to town, have fun with it. I'm going to cut out some hearts. Might have made my hearts a wee bit too large. That's quite all right. And then I'm going to glue or tape my hearts around my box. Dun, 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 dun. There we go. And also on these hearts or paper or whatever you choose to use to decorate your box, you can add some extra captions here as well. So you can add in things like choose God's love, or Jesus loves me, whatever you want to say. And also, of course, the ever popular extra decorations. I'm gonna throw on some extra decorations momentarily. Now you can glue or tape these on. I'm gonna actually use tape simply because then I don't have to wait for it to dry. But if you've got a good glue, that's a great option as well. So I'm going to tape on my hearts to cover my box. And just for some extra funsies here, I'm also going to add a little antenna. Yes, I said antenna. I know, that's crazy, right? But I'm going to add a little pipe cleaner on the top just for an extra decorative flair, because that's what I sometimes do. And some extra stickers and all sorts of fun things here. But here's my decorative flair. I'm going to wrap this pipe cleaner around a pen or marker or whatever you have. Then, voila, I'm going to make sure you can see what I'm doing. I'm going to poke that through the top here. And that's just going to be an extra kind of fun, random little doohickey type of a thing. Now, what's going to happen with this box is we're going to use it, as I mentioned, to help memorize a verse. So I have part of our passage for today written out ahead of time, so I wouldn't have to sit here writing it for you. And I'm going to cut it up into pieces. So I've got the verse, therefore choose life, that you and your offspring may live loving the Lord your God, obeying his voice, and holding fast to him. For he is your life and length of days. Deuteronomy chapter 30, verses 19 through 20. So I have all these parts. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to mix them up. Now that I've cut them, we're going to mix them up like a puzzle, sort of like a puzzle. And if you want to, you can even roll them or fold them. I'm going to put them in my box. Now, this is where it kind of becomes another little game. So we're going to take turns taking the pieces of verse out of the box, and we're going to put the verse back together. Now you can make this into quite a lengthy verse memorizing experience, really, because what you can do is you can take the pieces of verse one at a time out of the box, read them, the Lord your God, holding fast to him. I'm not going to do all of them, don't worry. But after you take them all out, then you put them in order, and then you repeat the verse together as a group or as one-on-one, however you're doing this. Then you can put the pieces of verse back into the box one at a time and see if you can still repeat the verse. So you take away a part of the verse and put it back in the box, and then you read the rest of it without that missing line, but you remember the words of that missing line, so you can continually build on it as you take it away, if that makes sense. So you're repeating the verse over and over and over again, removing a little bit of it at a time, put it back in the box, and then you can do it again. It's just a fun way. Again, you can use this with any verse. You can use it with other things you need to memorize, but it's just a fun little extra tool that you can have that reminds us of what the verse means, that reminds us that we love God as he loves us, and is a fun way to uniquely remember what the verse says and remember the actual words of the passage itself. So you can do a number of things with this. Like I mentioned, you could incorporate these ideas and throw some extra stuff in there. You could do another verse. The world is your oyster. Treat it as you will. But hopefully this is just kind of an extra fun jumping off idea that you can then take and make your own and do whatever you prefer with. So hopefully those are 2 ideas that you can take and make your own. And hopefully it can be a blessing to you and your ministry, wherever and with whomever that might be. So join us again. Meanwhile, go make some crafts, make some disciples. We'll have a great week and hope to see you next time.